Hi out there. Welcome to the Short Story Corner. My name is Sheila, and this is where I read some short stories I've written out loud for your enjoyment. Thanks for joining me for it. I'm actually really glad you joined me for this one today because when I first started doing these videos for YouTube, there were two stories I'd written that I had in mind as stories I really wanted to read for this channel. This is one of them that I'm starting today, and I'm very excited. This is a story for everybody who took refuge in music growing up. Whether you were like me and you kind of spent way too many hours with your head next to a radio speaker on weekends, evenings, probably when you're supposed to be doing other stuff, or whether you came at music any other way. This story, I hope, resonates with you because it explores the importance and the power of one song in one person's life. And it does so from the point of view of two extraordinary and strange radio DJs. Let's meet him already. One of them's on the air right now during his 8 to 10 p.m. slot on WABB Community Radio. Here he is in the first part of No Repeat Lifetime. No Repeat Lifetime, Part 1. Rory Reid wasn't opposed to getting high, but he never did it on Sunday nights, not while he was on the air at WABB. He always laughed at himself for it, too. He could have gone in soaring like an eagle that had snorted a metric ton of coke off the back of a kite, and no one would have ever said a thing. No one except the production assistant, sleepily earning 2 hours of course credit, would have been around to say it. Instead, he dug in fully, showed the interns some respect, and each week cast himself with love into the radio graveyard, otherwise known as the 8 to 10 p.m. slot on Sundays. That was the latest from Kid Creon, a new song called Son the Wanderer. Rory browsed the event announcements. Looks like Kid's going to be doing a set at Creole Fest next weekend, going on at 2 p.m. Saturday the 17th. He'll be teaming up with Abe Wood in the Big House, who you heard before that. Should be fun. And before that, you heard Nita and Tango with Leave Me Then Love Me. Rory shook his head but kept talking. A DJ got to say, before that, only so many times while retracing the trail through his playlist. How long had he been doing this now? God help him if he ever started streaming his show online during these late night sessions. He decided that the 20 or so local listeners currently tuned in would forgive him if he himself sounded like the broken record. Because every time he turned on the console's lights, it was as if a new day had started, and the sun had announced that it was okay with Rory standing in his glow after all. Every day, Rory burned incense to thank the powers that allowed him to keep doing his job. Every day, he tweeted his appreciation to the fans who listened to him, not only at WABB Community Radio, but also during his late morning stint at 98.3 The Force. And he always took care to find them, the best among the latest sounds. Up next, something new from local artist Jules Horace. His debut track, What I Lose Now, got him some buzz around these parts. And now he's back with the follow-up. It's called What I Lose Now, here on WABB Community Radio. Rory blinked. He let the song's C minor opening chord progression wash over him so that he could parse it. Fresh as sushi, but with something incredibly familiar about it. He'd felt the same way about Jules' first single. How did that one start? Rory closed his eyes and began pushing away columns of darkness that had risen brick solid in his mind until he cleared a path for the first single's melody. He found himself humming the exact same song that was currently spinning from disk drive number 1. The song still going? Rory dug his phone out of the pocket of his coat. Call Mary Midnight, he instructed it. Mary never answered before the second ring. She also never insulted Rory with anything so tepid as a standard greeting. I'm wearing nothing but a trench coat like yours and a smile, thanks for asking. Turn on WABB and tell me what you hear. A few seconds slipped between Rory's fingertips while Mary fiddled with her receiver in the background. Oh, it's that new single by that Horace kid. It's cute. Kind of wistful. I like it, she said. What's wrong with it? What's its name? It's What I Lose Now, right? What was the name of his first song? The silence that followed was the silence of Mary's tongue being drowned in thick tar. Rory whispered a few syllables into the phone and heard Mary's breath. "Oh, for fuck's sake," she said. "I'm so sick of these guys." "You think they'd learn," he agreed, turning over the blank jewel case in which the Jules Horace CD had arrived. If only the disc had arrived blank too, he thought. And who the hell still sent out compact discs? "You need to have an equipment malfunction right now," Mary said. "I don't want this self-indulgent little dick hammer to get any more airtime." Rory sighed. "Song's almost over. Can't take most of it back. Besides, I've got some LBD queued up next." For most people, Rory knew, a favorite song by a favorite artist could clear the residue that a bad day had left behind. In Rory's hands, however, it could clear the night of some seriously spoiled mojo as well. "Meet me in a Sabos after I'm done?" Through the phone, he could hear the sound of car tires singing across wet pavement. "I've already got my boots on. Hell, I'm halfway there," Mary told him. "You've always got your boots on and ready to go." "That's because they look so good under this trench coat." Rory heard Mary chuckle as she moved the phone away from her face to end the call. Her laughter washed away in the streetlight drizzle. He started the track from LBD, even though he still had 5 seconds left on Jules Horace. Without his friend's voice, it was too cold in the studio otherwise. I know someone out there is going to say that the hardest part of this fiction story for them to believe is that radio is still going. Hey, it's still going. It's still fun. Anyway, thanks for joining me for part 1 of this story. Hope you'll join me for part 2 to see what's going on with this song that keeps playing and coming back, and not the way it used to in the 80s when we were stuck listening to the radio on interminable car trips. If you like this, share it with a friend. Leave it on in the background. Why not? Sharing is caring, they say. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Till next time, take care. As always, thanks for coming around to the Short Story Corner.